Hey friend, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, I'm working on some night moves. Traxxx Night Fury is a 13.5% bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout from Witch's Hat Brewing Company in South Lyon, Michigan. Witch's Hat has a few beers out in limited distribution now. They have Train Hopper, which is an IPA, This Guy, which is a double New England style IPA, and Night Fury, which is a stout. Now, Traxxx Night Fury, which I'll be referring to as Traxxx just to make it easier for the rest of this review, is a bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout that Witch's Hat releases at their annual Fury for a Feast festival. At the fest, they usually have several flavored varieties of the beer, but Traxxx itself is the base beer that starts it all. Now, unfortunately, I missed this year's Fury for a Feast because I was at Burning Foot in Muskegon, but viewer Randy Peiffer was gracious enough to give me a 2018 bottle for review, and that's what I have right here. Now, before I get into the beer, I just wanted to highlight Fury for a Feast and point out that Witch's Hat uses the festival to generate a lot of money that they donate to different charities to help people in need, and I think that's just really cool. It's really admirable for them to do that. So with that being said, let's get into the beer and let's get into the brew, and we'll take a look at the label first. So this has Witch's Hat's traditional bat icon or logo across the top. It's an orange label. The different ones are different colors. Randy told me that previous versions or previous years were wax capped. This one is not wax capped. It's a regular bottle cap. So that's how you know it's a 2018 version. It says Night Fury Traxxx. It has a picture of a line art drawing of a dragon. And underneath it says Bourbon Barrel Aged Flavored Stout. Now, I'm going to say that I'll read what the description of the beer is so you'll get a better idea what those flavors are. It also says 12 fluid ounces, 13.5% alcohol by volume. And then on the side here of the label, besides the Witch's Hat, the regular logo where it's like a hut or a little house in a park, or next to it some train tracks, it says Traxxx Night Fury. Imperial Stout brewed with molasses and lactose and aged in bourbon barrels with peanut butter, coconut, vanilla beans, and Mindo cocoa nibs added. Contains peanuts. And then it says Night Fury is black as night and more intense than a dragon attack. Prepare your palate for the fury that is about to be unleashed. And then it has Witch's Hat's information, their address, which is on 601 South Lafayette in South Lyon, Michigan, and their phone number. And drink fresh for best results. Don't be trashy and recycle. So then on the other side here, it just has some government warning, a little bit more, their website, witcheshatbrewing.com. And for today's review, I'm going to bring out my tulip here, and I'm going to grab my handy dandy bottle opener, and we're going to go ahead and pop this one open. So it's just a black cap, a plain black cap. I have this just barely over room temperature. It's just a little chilled. Whoa, I smell a lot of molasses. I just opened it and I could smell it like right in my face. So it's a really nice smell. It's sweet. It smells very sweet. Getting a little bit of molasses, getting a little of that bourbon, getting a tiny faint peanut kind of scent out of it. It just smells delicious. It smells like really good chocolate too in there. So I'm ready to just dive into this. So pouring this, wow, that is dark. That is black, like oil. Super dark, darker than a cola. Yeah, that's super dark. And I don't have my light for this review that I've had for some recent ones, but I'm gonna hold it up to the light here. And that is, yeah, it's like oil. It's black. There's no seeing through it. There's no illusion of a hue of like reddish on the outside. It maybe has a little bit of a brownness to that very outside rim. There's not a lot of head. I poured it, didn't get a lot of head out of it. There's a little bit of bubbles hanging out on the top. There's a little bit around the edges here. If you kind of hold it up to the light, you can kind of see the alcohol legs on it a tiny bit, but not too much. It's not too bad. I'm ready to give it another smell right here out of the glass. Yeah, getting a lot of that peanut, a lot of that roasted kind of peanut scent. Chocolate from the cocoa nibs. It just smells really delicious. A little bit of everything, right? You're getting a little bit of that vanilla, a little bit of the molasses, a little bit of the bourbon, a little bit of the peanut butter, a lot of the chocolate that's in there, a little bit of the cocoa chocolate, kind of interchangeable for me at this point. But yeah, it just smells delicious. I'm ready to dive in. So cheers. Wow. That is super complex. It's very sweet up front. The bourbon's really kind of up front in there, but it's not overpowering. The mouth feels really nice and medium. It's not syrupy. It's not super thick. It just kind of, it's a nice medium kind of mouthfeel considering that it's 13.5%. You know it's bourbon barrel aged. I would think that it would be a little bit more syrupy, but it's really smooth, really nice and medium mouthfeel. Bourbon up front, but not overpowering. It kind of fades. You get a little bit of that alcohol bite to the back. It does have a little bit of a burn, but I'm also getting a lot of other flavors in there. So I'm getting, again, the bourbon up front, the molasses, then I'm getting like this really nice sweet, chocolatey kind of taste in the tail end. I get a tiny bit of like a roasted peanut flavor. A little bit of vanilla in there as well. It's really complex, but really good. Totally a sipper. I mean, it's smooth enough that you could just, kick back like a lot of it. You could drink a lot, but it's so smooth and it's so tasty that it's like you kind of want to savor it. I want to savor it. I want to sip it. I want to just make sure I'm enjoying it, make sure I'm taking it all in. This wouldn't be one, if I had a friend over to share this with, it would be like we would, maybe have smaller snifters, pour it in there, kind of share it, talk about it, whatever. But I don't think this would be one that I'd want it down just because it does have that alcohol burn. It's 13.5%, like I mentioned before, but it's not overpowering at all. The bourbon, I was expecting the bourbon to be a little bit more on the back end, and it kind of stings in there a little bit now that I'm kind of just sitting here and kind of ruminating with it or thinking about it. But you get a lot of the bourbon taste in the forefront, but it's kind of just there at the beginning with the sweetness, with the molasses, and then it just kind of melts away, and you get a little bit of that chocolate, you get a little bit of that roasty peanut taste. Kind of get almost a bit of like I almost got it in the smell too. It's like this kind of sugar cone, like you get an ice cream, you get a sugar cone. It's kind of like that sugar cone kind of taste, and it's really good. Man, the last 2 years, the Burning Foot Festival, which I've gone to, and Fury for a Feast have been the same day. So having this, it's really tearing me apart because now I've never had this, so I didn't know what I was missing. And now that I've had it, it's kind of like, do I want to go back to Burning Foot or do I want to go to Fury for a Feast and pick up some bottles of this? Because it's delicious. Like I don't know in recent memory a stout that I've had that has been this good, and I can only imagine this is fresh. So I believe Fury for a Feast was August, I want to say 26th or 28th. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember the exact date. But this is super fresh, so if I let this age a little bit more, I can imagine that kind of bourbon just kind of really simmering down, really kind of melting in a little bit, all the flavors kind of coalescing a little bit more and being even more delicious. Like, oh my God, I can't even think about it right now. I couldn't even process all that. But yeah, stout-wise, or even overall, it's going to be hard not to put this stout-wise in top 3 beers this year of 2018, and just in general, like, across the entire gamut of all the different styles, this is going to have to be top 5 of the year, at least so far. I mean, this is really good. Again, a sipper, get a lot of nice dark chocolate in the background. I'm just picking up, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm drinking it, the more air that's hitting my tongue with the beer kind of remaining on there. The more flavors I'm picking up. It's got alcohol legs for sure. It's got this, as it kind of fades down the glass, there's like this brownish kind of color that hangs out. This is delicious. Again, I can only imagine how well this would age over time. I can't say, with Witch's Hat, I can't tell you, I could not be honest and tell you. And at the same time, I don't think I've ever had a beer that I didn't like from Witch's Hat, and this is wow. And I've had a lot from Witch's Hat that I've really enjoyed, and this is probably one of the best that I've had. Again, I'm a stout and a porter guy at heart. I love stouts, I love porters, but this, yeah, I can't stop gushing over how good this is, and I don't want to stop drinking it, but Man, I just have to end the review at some point, right? So yeah, Fury for a Feast is a great kind of deal, but Traxxx Night Fury, or just as I'm going to call it, Traxxx, wow, this has blown me away for sure. I was not expecting it. You know, you can talk yourself into being hyped about stuff sometimes, and I don't like to do that because I feel like when I overhype something to myself, then I just get disappointed because it doesn't live up to expectations. Wow, but this blew my expectations out of the water. Again, this is probably a top 3 stout of the year, top 3 dark beer of the year, and a top 5 beer, at least for 2018 so far. Night Fury Traxxx, again, Traxxx. Wow, blown me away. Great job, Witch's Hat, and I wish I could get my hands on more of this. All right, friends, that is Traxxx from Witch's Hat Brewing. Have you had Traxxx or any of the other many varieties over the years? If so, let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and if you head into Witch's Hat, let them know you saw a video for Traxxx right here. And while you're down there leaving comments, you can also find links to my social media, some merch, custom Tiku glass, links to all the gear that I use on these videos, including the lights, camera, microphone, everything. And you can also find a link to my blog at drafttherapy.com. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. And remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they are, and don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Oh, and also, big time shout out. Thank you very much to Randy for giving me this bottle. Again, I've never had this before, so it's just a real treat to be able to try something this good. Randy, again, thanks so much for sharing a bottle with me.